Hello, hello, Facebook friends. We're going to give everyone a few minutes to log in and join us. Please let us know that you're out there and say hello to us
Facebook
in the
friends.
chat. We're going to give everyone a few minutes to log in and join us. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. See people yet coming in. Thank you. Hello, hello. Say hello to everyone. Let's see. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We're excited. Thank you for your support. So we're going to wait about a minute or two as people are joining us. We are so excited about tonight, and we certainly appreciate your support tonight as we are going to be talking about our upcoming event. Yes, you can. Our success empowerment. Hello, Reverend McLeod. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Deacon Roseborough. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Miss Harris. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to give it a few more minutes and allow people a minute or two, and we're going to certainly get started. We appreciate your support tonight and your prayers as we are certainly want our young adults to know that we're in behind them. And yes, they can succeed. So again, we're going to give it a few more minutes as people are yet logging in. Please go ahead and say hello. If you have joined us, do say hello, talk to us, and let us know that you are out there. Thank you so much for those who have joined. And again, we're going to give it another 2 minutes or so. We were so excited about our upcoming empowerment, which is Yes You Can. It's a success empowerment for our college students. And I'm going to put up the information coming up on August the 7th at 3 p.m. via Zoom. And you can pre-register for it by going to www.zoom.us and entering the ID 846-0420-5237 and entering the password success. Again, people are still logging in. Please say hello. Hi, Joshua. I'm so glad that you are here. That's one of our student ambassadors. Grace and peace be unto you. Yes. And so again, we're still waiting on others to log in. Please say hello and let these amazing scholars know that you are out there and that you do support them. It is now roughly 5 minutes after, and we're going to go ahead and get started. And as people are entering in, we will let them go ahead and say hello to us. And so again, we are excited. I am Dr. Cynthia Dixon, and I am the founder and CEO of Cynthia Dixon Ministries. And the Lord gave me the vision to do an empowerment for our new and returning college students. And when he gave me this vision, he said to me that, he's raising up new leaders, and it is so important that we support our young adults and we push them and get in behind them and encourage them, because again, we need them to fulfill their great purposes and destiny and callings. And so we're doing a Yes You Can empowerment. This is going to be on August the 7th at 3:00 p.m. We have some powerful speakers lined up, y'all. I am excited. I can't wait to hear them myself. But the first speaker that we have is Dr. Gregory Scott. He is going to be giving us an empowerment 10 minutes. Yes, you can achieve. Then our second word is going to be coming from a powerhouse, Dr. Kendra Davis. Yes, you can survive the stress. Our third word is coming from another powerful woman of God, Dr. Robin Featherstone out of Durham. She is the daughter of our pastor, Dr. Dennis Bishop, and she's going to be speaking on, yes, you can make good choices. Then our fourth word is going to be coming from Dr. Sansere Spees, and she's going to be speaking on, yes, you can follow your dreams. And then our last word is going to be coming from Dr. Nathan Scovins. Yes, you can stay connected to God. So again, we're excited about this upcoming empowerment. It is not too late to register, and you may pre-register by going to zoom.us. Enter the ID 846-0420-5237 and enter the password success. And when you enter your password, you'll get a screen to enter your name and your email. And then once you hit submit, you will get a confirmation email that you can use on the day of the event. So that is again, a little about the upcoming empowerment. So I'm excited. We have some amazing people with us, and we want to hear from them. I'm going to, first of all, ask them to introduce themselves. And before we get the introductions in, again, I'm asking everyone, please give us a shout out. If you have tuned in with us, say hello, put your name in the chat. Let us know that you are out there. All right. And so again, we're going to ask them to introduce themselves and tell us what school they're planning to go to and what their major is and their classification. And then we are going to just do some roundtable talk as we talk to these young people. All right, let's start with Miss Porsche.
Hi, everyone. My name is Porsche Smith. I'm from Winston-Salem as well. I'll be attending Emory University this fall as a freshman. I hope to pursue a bachelor's degree in neuroscience and behavioral biology, where I will be graduating in 2025. So it's nice to see you all.
All right. Now, let me brag on Porsche. Porsche graduated valedictorian from Winston-Salem Prep. I am so proud of her. And so welcome to the panel. Brother Hairston.
Well, my name, of course, is Eric Hairston. I'm going into my second year of doctoral. I'm a doctoral student, of course. And my degree is, of course, Ph.D. in history. And yeah, nice to meet everybody. Hope everybody's having a blessed night. All right.
Wonderful. And Dr. Canty has already completed. She's our special guest. And so we'll just ask her to, again, share where she went to school and what her doctoral degree in and a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ashlee Canty. I recently completed my Ph.D. in curriculum studies at DePaul University in Chicago. My research focuses on African-American sorority women's experiences with racism and sexism at predominantly white institutions. So I currently work doing diversity, equity, and inclusion work at an institution and also own my own consulting firm with my business partner where we work doing leadership and DEI trainings for companies, organizations, and individuals.
Amen. Thank you so much. I want to start out with the first question because when I started this empowerment, I wanted to be a support, and I want you all to just kind of speak to who is your support system and how important it is to have that support base as you are matriculating. And so I will start with Porsche, and then we'll just go around and have each one comment.
Thank you for that question. So having a support system is very important. As many of you all know, it really helps you to solidify a foundation. You need a foundation as far as networking and then growing within yourself. And so what my foundation and what my support system looked like was Dr. Cynthia Dixon. You were, of course, a part of that. Of course, my school counselors, some friends, some people that I networked with city council. Some of those people helped me to understand what I want to pursue and how I can pursue it. And so that really helps me to understand the idea of success and growth and empowerment. For me, that was also how I was able to connect with others and really get to a point of being valedictorian and applying to such colleges.
Amen. I'm sorry, Dr. Canty.
So I would say definitely like my mom and my sister and my family, but I'm very fortunate that I've probably had some of the same friends since I was about 10 years old. And so my friends are definitely a support, whether it's like, hey, do you want me to bring you something to eat, or being in college, just having those people that really understand your experience. Going to a predominantly white institution, it was so important for me to also have like my sorority sisters. And so there were people that understood some of the challenges of being at a predominantly white institution, but also there were people who, even when you had a bad day, it's like, let's go grab lunch, let's go grab dinner. And even into adulthood, as I've finished my PhD, those same people were the same people that would virtually write with me as they were finishing their PhD too. So I think for me, it was definitely different people that had different roles. And ultimately, I also was able to identify mentors that supported me professionally and through my academic work, and were always there to kind of cheer me on along the way.
Well, I would say my support system, of course, is God. You know, I rely on the word of God to help push me through, no matter what. But I want to say second in line is my parents, my mother, my friend, one of my close friends. She helps me. She gives me encouragement when I need it, pushes me through even when I don't feel like doing work. Sitting down, writing papers, it's hectic. And that's basically it. I mean, God first, though. Number one.
Amen. Amen. And so that brings me to our second question, because I want to talk about achievement. Because our first empowerment, yes, you can achieve. Yes, you can soar. And so what were some of your strategies of success? What does it really take? And so again, I want to, just encourage, all of our young adults, dare to dream, dare to soar. It's greatness in you. It's gifts in you. And I think one of the greatest tragedies, and I heard this from Dr. Miles Monroe, he says the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but it's taking those gifts to the grave. And so there is something so powerful in you. And you all, we want to make sure that everything in you comes to fruition. And so I want you to talk about some of those secrets of success. How did you get to where you are now? Share with others some of those strategies, disciplines. What did it take to get there? And I'm going to start with Dr. Canty, because she has her PhD. I'm so proud of her.
So I would say definitely lots of prayer, therapy. Having a good therapist is very important as well, because a lot of times as Black and brown people, we're tasked to do more with less. And so I think sometimes that whole concept of you have to fly when others can jump can be really heartbreaking in times when you just want to rest. So also rest, and also not feeling guilty about taking that rest. So if that meant I spent 3 hours binge watching a Netflix show and eating popcorn, then that was fine. I knew the next day I had to regroup and restructure and get ready. And then also affording yourself the break. So whatever help it is that you need. So if it's you need assistance with house cleaning or cooking or doing quick meals, like figuring out those things that make your life a little bit easier, and not being, ashamed to admit, like, I can't do it all, because I don't think we were designed to do it all. I think we do need others. We do need to advocate for ourselves. And I think for me, it was putting things into perspective and then travel. I love to travel, so I would take advantage of that. And sometimes that meant I might take a book and read, and sometimes that meant I didn't. But I had to really learn not to guilt myself into feeling bad, like, oh, you should have folded those clothes. It's like, girl, those clothes will be there. You can wear them later. You can wear them out the basket, and that's okay too. And I think it's just giving myself some grace in that space to be able to say, you know, I am beat and I need to decompress. And sometimes that was being a couch potato, and sometimes that was spending time with loved ones. I have a dog that I got in the middle of my PhD program, and it is I had like a freak out moment. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 12 to 15 years. But like having a dog and having that routine and being able to say, you know what, it's time for me to take a break and take a walk and not feeling guilty about it are all the ways that I worked. And then, you know, ultimately having goals and making them manageable. So if that meant writing 3 paragraphs or reading 1 article or reading 10 articles, I made sure that I set those and that I had accountability partners to check in and assist with that.
I really like that, because you said having goals, and you know, if you don't aim for anything, if you don't have any goals, I don't think that you can achieve unless you are intentional about, you know, what is it that you want, what is it that you want to do, and setting those goals high, and as the old saying, you know, shoot for the moon, and if you don't hit it, at least you're laying amongst the stars. And I like what you said about that accountability piece too, you know, having those people that will push you and not let you quit. And for me, it was my mother. She told us that quitting wasn't an option. I mean, she put our hands on our back and she pushed us, and she said, you know, but you can do this. So a lot of my inspiration did come from her saying, no matter what challenges you face in life, you can do this. Amen. Mr. Hairston.
All right. I'm going to say just getting through this PhD program has made me exercise, like Dr. Canty said, having goals. I try to do something towards my goal every single day, towards this program every single day, and I think about the end result. So that actually helps me push through the stress of it. As a teacher, I'm already going through the motions of grading papers and teaching students at the same time. So my mind is already in that frame. So, like I said before in the beginning, God first. When you pray and when you prayer, supplication, fasting, all that stuff helps me push through the stress. But in particular, I would say doing something and focusing on the end game, per se, so to speak, helps me push through the stress. So yeah.
Amen. Amen. And Miss Portia.
I would have to second both Dr. Canty and Eric as well. For me, achievement wasn't necessarily the idea of, oh, I have to get the goal, I have to be the best of the best. It was honestly understanding within myself that others are saying that I shouldn't do it, it's a waste of time, but they're not understanding that God has given me that calling. And I need to make sure for that I recognize that that's something for me. I need to make progress towards that goal. It is not for anyone else's glory, it is for God's glory. So asking God to give me peace within confusion, helping me to understand that I can get to the end goal. I can make this achievable by taking it in chunks. I don't have to do it all in one night. I remember sophomore year and junior year, I really got into this work habit of putting a lot of stress on myself, wanting to do more, being at every event, and it wasn't realistic. So I understood after a while that if I wrote down my goals and took it in chunks and really prayed over it and asked God to anoint my ears, anoint my mind, my soul, so that I can understand what He has in store for me, then that is when I can achieve what He has in store for me.
Wonderful. Now, all 3 of you said something about the stress, which is one of our empowerment words. And I want to talk about that because it can be stressful. We have to be honest, especially around exam time, especially for those who are holding down jobs. It can be stressful as far as peer pressures. It can be stressful far as balancing. So how do you manage those stressors? Because the stress sometimes can make people quit and make people throw in the towel and give up, because along with you're trying to pursue a goal, then you have the regular stressors of life. And so, a person that achieves have to be able to conquer stress, conquer anxiety, how to push past. Sometimes you don't feel like studying. Am I right? You don't feel like it. So how do you manage that? Because again, some of the things that we're talking about tonight is not necessarily just for college students, but just life. So I'm going to start with Porsche this time and ask you all to share, how do you manage the stress of success and those things that you deal with, especially as you're matriculated?
So I want to point out something Dr. Canty has said earlier about the importance of having a therapist and having a mentor, and the idea that you don't have to do it all by yourself. I think when you allow people to work with you, when you allow not only just school related, as you said, everyday stress, sometimes you don't want to cook dinner, sometimes you don't want to fold clothes, sometimes you just want to lay in bed, and it's just the reality of things. So I would say allowing people to step in the boat with you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That was something I was struggling with for a while. I wanted to do everything by myself because I saw everyone else in my life do it. So trying to open up, trying to have connections with people, and allowing them to guide me and ask for pointers, ask for advice. Sometimes you're so caught up in thinking of, oh, I got to do this, or I can achieve this, and you don't realize that you're missing some puzzle pieces. And I learned over time that my friends knew a lot of what I needed if I would just open my mouth. I know a lot of you guys may have heard the saying, closed mouths don't get fed. And so that's something that has helped me right now, speaking with my pre-advisor. I need help with understanding how to apply for this course. How can I talk to this professor? Opening up your mouth so that way you're not carrying on the load of stress by yourself, and understanding it's normal and normalize those feelings.
I like what you said. All right, Eric.
So I'm going to say self-care. Self-care is a must. I think doing something that you want to do, something that you love to do, is a must for being in school. You just going to work, period. Self-care. Sitting time aside, like sitting down and watching your favorite show, going out, eating your favorite meal, something like that. Akin to what Dr. Canty said, So that's what I do to help me get through. I do something I just love doing, and then, like I said, being intentional, saving a schedule for yourself. If you don't set a schedule for yourself, you end up turning this stuff late. I've done that many a time. I will sit here on a Sunday night, just sitting up all night doing work because I didn't set a schedule for myself. So having self-care, setting a schedule, being intentional, like I said earlier, about what you need to do, that actually helps me balance my stress, because you don't want to end up with a pile of work, especially if you work in a job like me as a teacher, after grading papers and then doing curriculum and all that stuff. So you have to set different goals and have your schedules laid out. All right.
For me, it's having good boundaries. I think I always had a hard time with saying no, but no is a complete sentence. I don't owe anyone an explanation unless I choose to give that. And so for me, that's how I manage the stress. Again, the therapist is really helpful. Sometimes you need like a third party who is not so invested in who you are to kind of validate some of the feelings that can be harmful, but someone that can help you really think through strategies. Like I had a therapist and she told me, she's in Winston, Dr. Shawn Ricks, shout out to her. And when I was going through a really tough time at my PhD, she said, sit for 15 minutes and just Right. And 15 minutes would turn into an hour. And then also she gave me a lot of affirmations, because a lot of times when you're in these like high level, whether it's undergraduate programs or PhD programs, a lot of that imposter syndrome can happen when you're the only person who looks like you, or there are very few, and you're trying to support other people. And so I'd say, like, you can do this, you are capable, you will get finished. And then also to-do lists. Like I would, some days cooking a meal when you're in the midst of a finals or whatever, like that is an accomplishment, and you have to celebrate the small wins. If you read one article, that's an accomplishment. If you are having a tough time during exams and you don't cry that day, that is an accomplishment. And so I think you have to celebrate the small wins along the way and give yourself grace, but then also know when to say no. It's okay to say no, even if it's something that is like a good thing to do. But if you know that you don't have the bandwidth to show up fully as yourself and in the best way to do the best work, then say no. And people who love you will respect that boundary, and people who challenge it, then you kind of know where to place them. But definitely be comfortable with setting those boundaries and advocating for yourself to feel whole in all the spaces.
A few of your comments, I'm putting comments in the chat. Dr. Canty, that is some very good advice, because I feel that you have to learn to say no. I remember when I was an undergraduate many, many years ago, there were students who really struggled with saying no to peers, partying and things like that. And if you don't learn how to set those boundaries, it will get you in trouble. And I like what you said about, having that to-do list. What really got me through was, first of all, I knew what I had to do, and I would pace myself. That's one of the ways that you reduce stress. I would pace myself. So I knew if I had 100 pages to read, then I would do maybe 20 on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, another 25 on Wednesday. Because I'm telling you, I am not a last minute person. I cannot, that's too much stress. And so I would pace myself and do a little bit here and just knowing what I needed to do. And that was the way I was able to manage stress. And so I like, again, what I see it in the comments that Brother Barry Washington said, time management. And that is key. You have to manage that time. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And so it brings me to another question that we're also going to talk about during our empowerment, is about making good choices. How important is that? Because you're making lots of choices, from what am I going to major in, making good choices about who you're going to be around, making choices about like we said, the time management. So how important it is to make those good choices. So I'm going to start with Brother Eric.
So making good choices, to me, you have to connect your choices to what you want to do. So I want to get my PhD in history. I'm going in on my second year. I want to put myself around people that are like-minded. So I try to do that. I try to put myself into organizations that help push me forward in my career and what I want to do. So everything's connected. Like I said earlier, being intentional about what you're doing helps you continue to form your goals, help you to manage your time correctly, and it also helps you to become more stress-free. So that's basically it. I mean, yeah.
Dr. Canty.
Well, I made a lot of choices. Some were better than others, but I ended up okay. I think, I had a lot of fun in college and graduate school, still graduated. And so I think I had a good balance between, do the right thing and, and YOLO, for lack of a better concept. But I think it's really important just to know who you are, be self-aware enough to know what it is that you're doing, make the best choice for yourself, because my best choice is not going to be the same as Portia's, is not going to be the same as Eric's. And I think you have to know yourself well enough to know that there are choices and consequences. And so you have to be able to manage that. I think that as I've gotten older, my self-awareness has definitely increased, as you would hope so. But I think for me, it's really making the best choices for myself at the time, and that are going to position me in a way that gets me to what my end goal is, or gets me the results that I want, whatever that looks like.
Wonderful. Miss Portia.
So I was second what everyone else was saying. For me, it was necessarily surrounding myself with good people. One of my great friends that's actually tuning in right now, Josh, we both surround ourselves with good people, with like-minded thinking. And so that's how I was able to make great choices, is to have people tell me sometimes you just need someone to tell you, you know what, maybe that's not the best for you. You're not seeing it, but I can see that that is not going to put you in the position where you want to be. And I believe, God places people in our lives to help us to weed out bad decisions and good decisions. And of course, we're all going to have our great deal of good and bad where we're going to make mistakes. And I'm really big on the idea of, you can make a choice, you can make a mistake, but you have to grow from it. You have to understand that, okay, this is not necessarily a setback. This can help me to propel myself forward. And how can I do that? What can I do right now? What do I have control of? And what do I not have control of in terms of making decisions and propelling myself to where I want to be and where God has called me to be.
I was talking and realized I was muted. You said something amazing that I want to piggyback on. You said that, if you make bad choices, you learn from them. That is a secret of success. And so I want to ask everyone, can you recall a time that you made a bad choice and what you learned from it?
My bad choice was my college major. So my undergraduate degree is in biological sciences with a minor in genetics. I wanted to be a pharmacist and ended up getting my master's in college student development or college student personnel, which was the right choice. I had no business being a science major, but I think, it's like you grow up, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. I mean, I am, but a different type of doctor. So it all worked out, but I should have never gone to college to be a science major. I loved sociology. I loved psychology. I, went to get my master's degree in education. My Ph.D. is in curriculum studies. So obviously I ended up on the right track, but yeah, that was a terrible mistake to go and major in science. I wish I would have either taken, I wish I wouldn't have taken AP classes. I wish I would have done dual enrollment and then, really try to think outside of just science as a career, because there's so many other things you can do with the humanities and all of those other pieces and the work that I do now. So yeah, I will always say that I should have never gone to college to major in biology. Luckily, I was at NC State and loved it. So, I pushed through, but that was a mistake.
What did you learn from that mistake?
To really wait, to give myself the opportunity to explore before deciding on something that's, so permanent. I also think I learned that a lot of times the people around you and the expectations that you kind of grow up with are not always the ones that you need to kind of live through. I think, for Black students, especially Black women, we're pushed into STEM, but a lot of times with STEM stuff, we're not supported through that. And so while I pushed through in college, I wish I would have given myself the opportunity to explore. And that's also a privilege thing. We don't often have the privilege to go to college and figure it out. We have to have it figured out before we get there. And I don't think that's something that has been unlearned as we think about who goes to school and where they're going. And so I wish I would have taken a step back and given myself the time to explore all that NC State offered versus just knowing that this is what I was going to do.
You bring up something, you bring my mind back to my college years, an undergrad, and one of the mistakes I made. And somebody probably need to hear this. I followed money over passion. When I was in undergrad, I wanted to be a teacher. Teaching has always been in my spirit. But guess what I did? My friends told me teachers don't make no money. So I went to business school. I did. And I did make good money. I worked in the banking industry for many, many years and made good, but it was not my passion.
And I think that's cultural too, right? I think that's cultural too. I think oftentimes Black students don't have the space and the freedom to explore those interests the way that others do, because education is seen as this great equalizer that's going to give us more. But then we come out owing more than what we make, and it's like we're kind of just back in the same space. And so, I think it's, as people go to college, or as, parents talk to their kids about what they want to do, giving your child or children the space to explore those interests in ways that helps them to follow their passion and to find ways to make money in said passion is so important, because there's so many people stuck in majors and jobs that they are so unhappy with and can't find a way out. I was fortunate enough to have good advisors that were like, have you thought about this education piece? Even though my degree was in science. And once they showed me that, I was like, you know what? This is where I should be. This is what I need to be doing. And it's led me to a very fulfilling career. I probably don't make as much money now as I would if I was a pharmacist. However, I couldn't imagine not doing the type of work that I'm doing and the way that I'm able to do it.
That is so, so awesome. And while we're on that, and then we're going to get to Eric about his mistake and what he grew from it. When you're young, that's a good time to really do some soul searching. What are you passionate about? Because what I used to tell my high school students, you're going to spend 30 years or more in the workforce. And like Dr. Canty said, you don't want to go every day to work and you're doing something that you don't want to do. You have no joy in doing. So finding out, well, what do I want to spend the rest of my life doing? And so you really want to think very deeply about, what is my purpose? What is my passion? What do I want to do? And then go after that dream. Thank you, Dr. Canty. That was some good info. Eric.
Okay, well, I have two. The first bad choice I made was when I got out of the military, because I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah. So I got out and I did not know what I wanted to do. So I jumped around from thing to thing. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a CNA. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be what is the other thing I did? Electrician. Multiple things. I did not make a plan. So that is one of my bad choices. Then I'm going to move over into what I'm doing now as far as my doctoral work. Not planning ahead. Waiting to the last minute to do things. I remember one time I had an assignment. I mean, it was a big assignment. It was like a 25-page paper. Waited to the last day to do it. Man, I was up all night doing the thing. I turned it in late, but the professor gave me 2 weeks to do it. I had 2 weeks to do it, and I literally made a bad decision. But I paid for the decision because I had to go to work the next day, and I was at work sleepy all day, about to fall asleep on my desk. So that's two bad choices I made. So as overview, planning is like the best thing you could do. Planning, knowing what you're doing, and also time management. So yeah.
And obviously you learned from those things, didn't you?
Oh yes. I've learned to make a schedule. I have a calendar right above my computer right now that I write my whole schedule on. Right now I have a book. I got like 3 books worth of scheduling. So I make sure I schedule myself out. I even had this meeting up there tonight. Because if I didn't write it down, I guarantee I would have showed up on time.
All right, my college people, y'all hear that? He said he had it on the calendar. Listen, your calendar better become your friend. You better get real acquainted to putting things on calendars and to-do lists, like Dr. Canty said. Wonderful. And there's another thing that I've heard over and over. You all talked about, learning from the mistakes. Failure is never final. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. You pick yourself up and you keep going. And one of the things I've found, especially sometimes with students, they beat themselves up if you don't make the grade, if you succeed. How do you bounce back with self-disappointment? Y'all speak to that real quick. How do you bounce back when you kind of disappointed, you didn't get what you wanted? So we'll start again with Dr. Canty. How do you bounce back from the disappointments?
Yeah. I think the greatest disappointments have probably been job searches for me. It is a lot of work. And so for me, I have to kind of remember that anything that's for me is going to be for me. And there's nothing that's going to take that away. There's no incident that's going to happen. There's nothing I'm going to say or going to do that's going to remove me from all the things that are meant for me. And that's really hard to remember when you get like 6 rejection emails. But I also have to remember that it's like, what is mine is always going to be mine. And it might take me a little longer to get there, and it might take me a different route, but I always have to remember, like, I have to work towards the goal. I also have to give myself the space to be sad and to feel those emotions and to wallow. I think, pushing through without really honoring your emotions can be a very dangerous space, because you never give yourself time to grieve those things that you had hoped for. And I think it's okay to be upset. It's okay. Like, if I get upset about something, I'll call my sister, be like, girl, let's go get tacos. And it's okay to sit and wallow in that. And then it's like, okay, in a few days, I'll figure out a new game plan. I just don't want to sit in those feelings so long that I forget what it is that I need to do. But as much as I deal with the disappointment, I also honor those feelings and recognize that I am human, and that I will be okay. And that I just need to figure out what I want to do next. And if that's cry, then it's cry. If it's wallow, then it's wallow. But I make sure I honor those feelings of disappointment and then work towards what I want to do next.
All right, Eric, how did you handle disappointment?
Okay. Well, I handled my disappointment by literally just praying. I'm gonna say I pray every time I'm disappointed. I do get sad, and sometimes I do. I call my mom. I talk to friends, whatever, to help me get through my disappointments. My biggest disappointment was, like Dr. Canty said, rejection letters and things like that. You apply for a job, and you really, really want it, and you think you've done good on the interview. All these, you sit and you go through several phases of an interview, panel interviews, all that stuff, and you feel like you got it, and then you get a rejection. That's horrible. That's a horrible feeling that you get. And also when you turn an assignment that you thought you've done wonderful on, you get a bad grade, or a grade that you thought you don't deserve. I pray. I literally try to do something to take my mind off of that setback. And I just kind of rewire myself from the inside out. I check my heart first, most of all. I check how I feel. Like, you got to kind of boost yourself up, give yourself a little pep talk. That's what I really do. And I really do this. Every time I get up in the morning, I say, okay, I can do this. Or I sit down for my work, because I think Dr. Canty was talking about imposter syndrome, or was that Porsche talking about? I'm in my second year, and I'm feeling like, oh man, can I do this? The stuff that I'm reading, I'm like, oh, am I smart enough to do this? Can I push myself through this? And I get that feeling at times, but then I turn stuff in, then I get the grade back. I'm like, oh wow, I can do this. I got an A. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all in the way you look at things. As far as disappointment, because you're gonna be. That's life. You're gonna be, you're gonna be plagued by disappointments. So.
Eric, thank you so much for your transparency, because he said something I remember back. Am I smart enough? I did my undergrad at UNC Chapel Hill. It was predominantly white. And I remember when I got there, and that was one of the questions. Oh my God, it seems like they were so much smarter than me. And I prayed, and I said, you know what? Yes, I can do this. I studied my butt off. I worked hard, because I believed that I could. But I struggled with it at first. I'm like, am I smart enough? And the answer is yes, you are. Yes, we are. I believe you just work hard, but you can do it. Last question. We're about out of time. You all are amazing. You are amazing. Our last empowerment for this episode is going to be staying connected to God. And We can't talk enough about that. Anytime that people are disconnected from God, for me personally, I prayed, I asked God for direction and guidance. And so, how important is it as you are moving toward your destiny? So, we'll start with Portia.
So that's a really great question. For me, coming into my freshman year of going to Emory, I have been dealing with this thing, as you all have nicely noted, imposter syndrome, and trying to stay connected to God in the process. You know, a lot of the things of this world, it will draw you back and make you question, you know, your abilities, if you can, if it is possible to do so. And for me, what that looks like is setting time aside each and every day, even if it's for 5 minutes, just to read the Bible, just to read the verse of the day. I mean, it's so important, especially when you're starting a new chapter of your life, or if you've been told no. There's a lot of negativity going around this world. And so when I think of no, I say, you know what? No, I'm not going to accept that as a no. It means next opportunity. There's greater things to come for me. And so I need to, you know, give my life to God, let others know that, you know, I may not look like I can because of my race. I may not look like I can because I'm a woman. But let me tell you, I am a woman of God, and that's all that matters. That is my title. You know, so when you realize that God has given you a title and it's not, for me, valedictorian didn't matter, or, you know, freshman, or, you know, doctor, anything. Those are wonderful titles to have. It looks good on the resume, but when you boil it all down, you have to be committed to serving God and to sharing His glory and sharing your story and your testimony. That's something for me that has helped me to understand my purpose and go ahead and really prepare my foundation before even stepping foot on campus, understanding what God has for me, and nothing can take that away. Even the rejection letters, even the terrible exam scores, I am still worthy and I still can.
Amen. Brother Eric.
Well, my connection to God is, you know, like I said, through prayer and supplication, fasting, things like that. I try to connect myself, like I said, to my goals. I know that God has given me a specific amount of gifts, and these gifts, and of course, this degree is going to help me to serve others. So that's what helps me push forward, keeps me motivated. Most of all, as a Black man and as a Black teacher, I know that I do have a specific assignment to teach our Black children real African American history. So that's one of my goals that keeps me ahead. I mean, I can't stop because I got a mission I gotta complete. Man, I gotta keep pushing forward. So as we all are, I don't know how many people are African Americans, but we do have certain things against us because of the color of our skin, and we have to work much harder. So I know this, and I continue to push forward, of course, with God as the head, and my mission at the back of my mind, my goals. So that's it.
That is awesome. I love what you said, Eric, about, you know, God is my head. And you said a lot about mission. And I remember when I was in school, what gave me that sense of purpose was God, that your life has worth, your life has value. You have a purpose to fulfill. And it gave me a drive and push because I knew that I was created for a purpose. And I really wanted to fulfill that. I wanted to be somebody. And so that really helped. Staying connected to God helped drive my purpose and my sense of worth and my sense of ability to achieve. We're going to end on Dr. Canty.
I wholeheartedly believe that the prayers that my grandmother prayed and that my mom prayed are probably still manifesting themselves in my life every day. I'm at a place where some of the things that have happened are probably some of the things that were my wildest dreams that I didn't know if they would happen. And then they happen. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm here. I think for me, you know, having mentors and being invited to different churches and being able to find those like church families, in the different cities where I've lived has been important. Doing service and philanthropy and giving back is important to me. And so I believe for me, that is a way that I stay connected because it, one, allows me to do something I care about, but it also allows me to work with communities, specifically of people that look like me and meet a specific need where I am able to, and to align myself with that. I also think, you know, being in prayer, asking questions. I remember I went through a really like troubling time when I lived in Chicago. And I was like, I just need something every day to remind me like, this is not it. And so I read a devotional every morning. I woke up and I read that and I committed to that. And I committed to journaling and I committed to being authentic. And I believe those things, you know, helped me to stay connected and helped me to stay true to myself, and also helped me to realize that even though things at some points were like really bad and I was really sad about stuff that was happening, and sometimes depressed, that there was some light at the end of the tunnel. And by each day just working a little bit, it just helped me get through those times and stay connected to God.
Absolutely amazing. You all have been wonderful. We're about out of time, and I just want to thank Porsche and thank Eric and thank Dr. Canty. Oh gosh, you all have blessed me. And I want to say, Dr. Canty, thank you for reminding us the importance of those mentors, the importance of praying. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this empowerment, because we are supposed to be that village to push you, to encourage you. And I am so excited about y'all's future. I look forward to you all doing amazing things. Dr. Canty has just started a new job, and I know she's going to be phenomenal. She's going to be at Wake Forest University. I tell you, that university just has gotten an amazing gift. I'm looking forward to future Dr. Hairston and the amazing work that he's going to do. And I'm looking forward to the future Dr. Porsche Smith. She has a goal to get her Ph.D. And I believe the greatness in you is going to be such a blessing. And so we want to thank each one of those who have tuned in tonight to hear the voice of these young people. And I want to encourage you to invite people to our upcoming empowerment for our young adults called Yes You Can. It is a success empowerment for college students, but anyone can come. Matter of fact, I've had several people that have registered because it is those, strategies for success. It's going to be Saturday, August the 7th at 3:00 p.m. It is via Zoom. And there is no fee, but we do ask you to pre-register by going to www.zoom.us, entering the ID 846-0420-5237, and enter the password success. And then once you hit submit, you will get a registration screen. And the only thing it asks for is your first name, last name, and your email. Then you will get a confirmation email with the link. Again, spread the word to our young people. I believe in investing in our spirit. And so this day is a day of empowerment. Also, we have some giveaways. There have been some community sponsors that's helping me out. My goal is to give 10 plus $100 gift cards away. So spread the word. Also, one of our student ambassadors or two will get a cash scholarship. And so I'm hoping to do $200-$300 a piece. And so we are looking forward to this. I know it's not a whole lot, but we just want to be a blessing to these young adults. We want to let them know they have our support. And then we're going to end our empowerment with prayer. We're going to end it with prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. You've heard our scholars talk tonight about prayer. And so we want to cover them in prayer. And because you all are carrying destiny, you're carrying purpose, and we believe in you, and we want you to know that you have our support. So again, I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight, but I especially want to thank Miss Portia. You all who are in the chat, say thank you, Portia. You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want you all to thank Eric Hairston. You are amazing. You're going to touch a lot of lives. And let's you all thank Dr. Canty. You are amazing. And so thank you for sharing with each one tonight. We've learned from you. We've gleaned from things you've said, and you go forth, you soar, you be the best you. You don't have to be like anybody else because God has created you unique, but you go forth and be all that God will have you to be. And so thank you again. This brings us to the end of our Facebook Live student broadcast. And again, you all continue to encourage our young adults because these are our future leaders. God bless you all. Thank you again for joining us, and you have a good night.